So another Arsenal shambles, really. Absolute shambles. Celebrating a draw at home. Why are people celebrating that? I didn't celebrate it. I refused to celebrate a draw at home against Fulham, who are going to get relegated. What are we cheering and celebrating for? Eddie Nketiah is celebrating like he's just scored the Champions League winner. Oh dear, oh dear. That maybe sums up the mentality of this football club. The fact that, you know, we struggle at home against Fulham. I predicted 5-0, by the way. I've got to stop predicting 5-0s to Arsenal. It's absolutely shambolic. You know, week in, week out, you get up for the game. We string a couple of good performances together. We go and beat Sheffield United. We go and beat Slavia Prague. And you think, right, next up, Fulham. 97th minute equaliser. I mean, that game was just a shambles. Absolutely disgraceful. The way Arteta managed that today was a disgrace. The starting 11, I understand you want to rotate. I understand that we've had a lot of games thick and fast. But at the same time, why is he starting Lacazette in that game? And now Lacazette's injured. Why are you starting Mohamed El Neni in that game? Like, all he done all day was just pass backwards. Why are you starting Bukayo Saka in that game? Yeah, the guy looked knackered. And he's looked knackered for a couple of weeks. I know he played all right the other night, but this is the ideal opportunity to rest Bukayo Saka. Wrap that kid up in cotton wool and bubble wrap and stick him on the bench, stick him at home, leave him at home, let him have a weekend off. Because if we are actually going to be serious and try and win that competition, he's going to be pivotal in that. And so is Lacazette, who was in good form recently. I don't think he was bad today, Lacazette, but I don't want to see him at DM. And that's all we see today was him at defensive midfield trying to pick up the ball. They bullied us today. They weren't great. Yeah, they deserved to win, though, because they put more effort and fight into that game. And how many times this season have we got to sit here and say, oh, we were only good for the last 10 minutes because we were popping it around and we had to go for it. I said this on the build-up show with Tom. It would not surprise me one bit if we start off bad and we chase the game. But it wouldn't surprise me if we're going to slap them 5-0. And I went with my 5-0 prediction. And I'm not doing that again. This club never ceased to let me down. Yeah. And so many poor performances. I mean, Hector Bellerin, what does that guy actually do to get paid over 100 grand a week? And he was captain of our football club. That's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Arteta as well. Yeah. He was a minute, not even a minute away from the first ever loss to Fulham at home. Less than a minute. And he would have held that record. The first manager in Arsenal history to lose to Fulham at home. First manager in 9 years to have lost to him. That would have been their first London derby win of the season. And you could see what it meant to Fulham. You could see Scott Parker looked like he was about to burst into tears. You know, and the amount of work rate, the amount of effort, they put their bodies on the line. Everything that we didn't do today, they did. And that is a disgrace. Yes, they're fighting for their lives. This looked like they're just bowling around the football pitch thinking they've made it because they play for Arsenal Football Club. I'm absolutely sick to death of some of these players, man. Sick of them. You know, why is Gabriel playing today, by the way? Pablo Mari and Rob Holding have been the best partnership when they've played. So why did we put Gabriel back in there today? Granit Xhaka at left back. Yeah, you've had 2 good games, mate, against a team that are relegated and a team that wouldn't be in the flipping championship because they're that crap. So you go against a team that will actually have a go, yeah, and they'll put effort in, they'll put fight in. And what did he do all game? Rash challenges, sliding around, done 10 rolls in a row. What was it, roly-poly? Yeah, like, disgusting. Can't stand that geezer, man. I'm so glad Bellerin is leaving this football club in the summer as well. That's been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano that he's leaving. Yes. Now take Granit Xhaka and El Neni with you. In fact, take Eddie Nketiah with you for celebrating like he's just bagged the Champions League final winner. I'm sick of it, man. I just genuinely cannot wait for this season to end. And we're consistently inconsistent. I am absolutely sick to death of it. Why is it we can put a performance in like we did against Slavia Prague, then the next game we put a performance in like that? Why? I genuinely do not understand it. Our manager sat there the other day in his press conference and said, oh, well, you know, we don't have time to prepare for the games because they're every couple of days. Hello? You're striving to get in the Champions League, mate. Yeah? The Champions League, believe it or not, mate, the games come every couple of days as well because you're playing a Tuesday or a Wednesday, then a Saturday. Then you're playing on a Thursday and then a Sunday. There's no difference. The only difference is you're playing better teams in that competition. I'm telling you now, if we qualify, and listen, I hope we win the Europa League, I really do. But if we get in that Champions League, we are getting pammed every single week. It wouldn't surprise me if we ended up back in the Europa League if we got in the group stage, because we won't get out of the group. We're not good enough. With this manager, we're nowhere near good enough. He is an absolute fraud of the highest level. Yeah. How can you park the bus and just play sideways, backwards football against Fulham? I'm sorry, no disrespect. That is an absolute shambles. Yeah, and he ain't good enough for Arsenal. He wasn't good enough as a player for Arsenal, and he certainly ain't good enough as a manager. And one FA Cup victory, and then everyone lauding him up like he's the second coming of Pep, yeah, is an absolute disgrace. Nowhere near the level required to be at this football club. And I want him gone. I wanted him gone before he got the job. I still want him gone now. And all that geezer has done is prove everything I've said about him to be right. Yeah, people can run their mouth to me all they like. Everything I've said about this manager has come true so far. He'll take us backwards. He'll break every record that we don't want to break. He'll lose more games than any other manager. He'll get panned by shit teams. He'll just play boring, negative football. And people think that all of a sudden he's going to flip the switch and get a couple of players in and we're going to play sexy tiki-taka football. You man are deluded. Real talk, deluded. Because that ain't happening. Has a manager ever done that? Gone from being a negative defensive coach to suddenly turning into a prime Barcelona? I don't think they have. So I don't know what people are seeing in this manager to think that he is the guy that is suddenly going to bring sexy football back to the Emirates. Not happening. Absolutely disgraceful. Bellerin was a disgrace, worst player on the pitch. Granit Xhaka, disgrace. Matt Ryan actually had a hand in the goal. Yeah, he was one of our best attackers today, and he went up for a couple of corners. That sums it all up for me today. No hunger, no fight, no anything. There was nothing there today. And this manager, the quicker we sack him and get a proper manager in who knows what he's doing, the quicker we move up that table. Because listen, if he wins the Europa, well done. The Europa ain't the benchmark of how good your team is over a season. This guy is a cup manager. Yeah. Do we want to be just a cup team, or do we want to challenge for titles again? You need to ask yourselves that. The football club needs to have pressure put on them by us to tell them exactly what we think of it. And by sitting there tweeting, trust the process. What process? What process? The process of being 30 seconds away from giving one of the worst teams in the league their first ever victory against us at the Emirates or at Highbury. Nah, man, fuck your process. F Bellerin, F Xhaka as well. Sick and tired of them two, man. Two of the worst footballers I've ever seen watching this football club for nearly 40 years. Absolutely done with them two. And I'm that close to being done with this season. Just end it. Yeah, I ain't even going to cry about VAR. Yeah, we all know it's a shambles. That shouldn't be the reason we didn't win that football match today. Fucking disgraceful.